Harley and I were in complete sync on this. She was making some phone calls to a few other friends we picked up from our lives of ghost chasing. Whisper was oddly quiet through most of this ordeal, as if the drama of it all were more amusing than scary. Rumor, on the other hand, was armed with her Hulk fist and fused to the back of my leg. As the elevator started its long trek down from the penthouse, we noticed a flicker in the lights. Harley ended the call with whoever it was she happened to be calling, letting reality take priority over the theoretical future. I pushed the children back to the corner, figuring that wouldn't do anything really, but it seemed as if the best I could do at the time. The lights went out and the children whimpered in fear. "It's okay," I told them, because that was what you were supposed to say, not because I was altogether confident it would be. I reached up blindly and attempted to push the top door open. Harley wanted me to wait before I started digging in the guts of the building, but that wasn't me. I didn't wait. I couldn't wait. Inaction was death. Harley was wearing her mom hat, so I knew she was being extra cautious. Because if she wasn't, she would have beaten me to the hatch. After a bit of struggle, I bumbled my way through, opening the door. I could see the weak glow of the shaft's elevator lights. I'm gonna see what is going on up here. And what the fuck is that gonna do? Harley spoke back angrily. Mommy cursed, Whisper said with an amused giggle. I'm sorry, baby, Harley responded with sincerity. It's okay, I said back slyly. You know I wasn't talking to you, smartass, Harley reprimanded. Ooh, Mommy cursed again, Whisper was quick to point out. I saw that Harley turned on her cell phone light. Why the emergency backup hadn't kicked in, I had zero clue. I took a page out of her book and set my phone to flashlight as well. It barely put a dent in the dark. I could see the cables and the inner workings of the machine. Before I could reply, the elevator rocked so violently, I had to drop low to catch myself. As the elevator screeched down on our tube, I saw another fly up the other way. On top of the elevator, similar to me, was the blip of a shadow looking down at me, tipping a hat. It moved too fast to confirm anything. It was akin to the fleeting flicker of light when reflected from your car on a night drive. The distraction nearly ended me. The elevator stopped. The force knocked me from my feet, and I slid to one end of the elevator, dancing dangerously close to the ledge. Is everything all right up there? Harley said, feeling the sudden shift in weight. My foot nearly slipped in the space between the elevator and the wall, but I caught myself, barely. I'm fine, I said as I slinked in from the hole and oozed my way back in. I made a concerned look to Harley, one that conveyed my urgency, but didn't alarm the children. Rumor was already too scared to notice, but Whisper was very empathetic, especially when it came to discerning when people were uncomfortable. Me and Harley joked that she was either going to be an insult comedian, someone that worked in human resources, a CEO, or a hitman. We managed to get to the sub-basement to the parking garage. Every shadow was suspect, every sound a potential danger. I took out my phone and texted Harley so we wouldn't have to speak candidly in front of the kids. Whatever it is doesn't seem to be tied to the apartment, I texted. Harley picked up her phone and texted back. Then we have to leave the building and see how far it goes. Alright, I brought the mystery machine so we can take that, I typed. Harley gave me an emoji thumbs up. We got to my minivan, which I used to haul my camera equipment. Then we hit the expressway off to our friend Tyrell's house. He wasn't an investigator, or he is, but he didn't make it his full-time gig. He worked with us for fun, walking through haunted houses, listening for noises, sleeping in graveyards, that sort of thing. Things you could walk away from. The city felt sinister this night, and there was no peace to be found anywhere, especially when my mind couldn't stop conjuring up shit to make the entire situation worse than it was. As we moved through the expressway, cars swayed, and I caught glimpses of distorted faces of people passing, optical illusions in the dark. A Nissan swerved at us out of nowhere, and I slammed on the brakes just to avoid it. Harley yelled at me, "What the fuck, Zach?" I righted the car. As I was about to answer, a semi-truck broke free of its lane like a wild animal, uncaged. I swerved onto the median. "The Hat Man! The Hat Man!" Rumor pointed and yelled. "What the fuck, Zach?" Harley yelled again. I didn't have time to reply. The mystery machine scraped the median, causing thick, bright sparks. I heard the honking of a car behind me. For a split second, I looked in the rear view. When I put my eyes back on the road to address the rampaging truck, it was gone. It hadn't driven away or switched lanes. It just wasn't there. "Why did you do that, Zach? What the fuck were you thinking?" I stopped the car. "We have to get the fuck off the street. My senses are compromised," I said. Harley switched seats with me and took the wheel. Hercules and the girls were a bit shaken up, but rather calm now that it was all said and done. I could see that Harley was driving slow, really slow. Sweat beaded up on her brow. I couldn't say, but I suspected she was beginning to have some of the same issues I was having. With the children right there, it wasn't worth the headache to vocalize it. Yet, at least. Harley pulled over the moment we got off the expressway. She texted me. I could see her fingers trembling slightly, though she was holding it together for the sake of the children. "We can't drive the car anymore until we figure it out. I saw it on the road. I'm guessing that's what you were seeing too," Harley texted me. There was no need for me to text, so I nodded. "There's a train station up ahead. Let's head there. We're not that far from Tyrell's house." As we were walking down the long subway train steps, I began thinking, if it wasn't the apartment and it wasn't the building, could it have been something we had on us? Harley herded the children through the metal corral, and I texted her again. Maybe we have something on our persons that is binding the spirit to us or the kids. As we waited on the drafty train platform at 4 a.m, Harley began dissecting the suitcase and clothes as if she was looking for a hidden wire. I struggled to think what new I had on me while going through my pockets. I looked at Rumor's book bag and took it off. This was when the children began to ask questions. "What are you doing, Uncle Zach?" Rumor asked me with her oversized Hulk fists. "Oh, I think I put something in your bag, but I don't know where it is," I said. Even at 3 years old, she found that hard to believe, but she seemed to just go with it. "Did either of you pick up anything new, something that's old or odd?" Harley asked the two children. "Maybe at school or on the playground?" Both children shook their heads in unison. I jumped on the train and roared through the tunnel, squealing from the brakes gripping the metal tracks. We got on when the door opened, one hand with our possessions awkwardly open and in disarray, the other gripping a child. When we sat down, Hercules began to growl. We weren't sure if Hercules was able to be brought on the train, but if anyone asked, I think I was savvy enough to lie and say he was one of the kids' emotional support animals. I looked up to see what Hercules had such a bad feeling about. A homeless man shuffled towards us. We could smell him coming long before he managed to get to us. I handed Rumor her bag and watched the stranger. Other than looking like someone who lived on the street, he wasn't bothering anyone. He just up and moved along. As he got to the end of our deserted car, the lights of the station went away, and so did the lights of the cab. The girls yelped. In the darkness, I could see the man moving cars. So accustomed to living on the streets, things like that didn't faze him. I heard the faint sound of a bump from the other car. "I'm gonna see what that is. You okay?" I said to Harley. She nodded as if she was just as curious as I was, but couldn't risk the kids for the sake of her own edification. The lights flickered on and off while I was changing cars. It was an easy thing to do, but there was always the slight chance of a dangerous slip-up, so anytime I moved cars, I was extra cautious.